President William Ruto's promise to compensate victims of the 2025 protests is beginning to look like a mirage. He unveiled the plan with fanfare in March 2026, vowing that by June, families who lost loved ones or suffered injuries will finally get justice. Yet the government's own budget decisions tell a different story. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, ktnnews, expected to anchor the reparations process, has been denied funding and even had its recurrent budget trimmed. As KTN's Vera Mora reports, what was billed as a landmark act of accountability is increasingly resembling a political performance, heavy on optics but light on delivery.
We have identified all the victims and profiled their names, and we have already made sure that we have a comprehensive list. We did not even stop at 2013.
Once again, President William Ruto has fallen short of his own words, mentioning the promise he made before the nation in March 2026, where he promised that victims of the deadly 2025 protests would be compensated by June 2026.
You will be approving 2 billion shillings to make sure that we have the resources to compensate those people.
Ruto made it clear that 2 billion Kenyan shillings had been set aside in the supplementary budget and assured Kenyans that the process was already underway, with victims identified and profiled by the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights.
We should be able to conclude this exercise before June.
But weeks later, the reality tells a different story. The supplementary budget signed on April 8, 2026 made no allocation to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the very body tasked with developing the reparation framework. Instead, KNCHR's request for 100 million Kenyan shillings to cater for the reparation process was ignored. And worse, the commission is set to lose 9 million Kenyan shillings from its recurrent expenditure out of the total 530 million allocated in the 2025-2026 financial year. This became a direct contradiction of the president's pledge. Without funding, KNCHR cannot operationalize compensation, no matter how loudly the government insists that money has been set aside. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has so far listed 1,224 victims of the 2025 protests for compensation. The list is undergoing verification to ensure eligibility before compensation can be made. Compensation for victims of state violence is not just about money, it is about trust, accountability, and the credibility of government promises. Was Ruto's pledge a genuine commitment or a calculated PR stunt to diffuse public anger after the protests? For victims who lost loved ones or suffered injuries, the absence of real action is not just disappointing, it is insulting. Sources have informed KTN that there has been a back and forth between the Treasury and the Commission, with the Treasury promising to disburse the 100 million Kenyan shillings funds owed to the Commission for the reparation process. President William Ruto's promise of compensation by June 2026 now hangs in the balance. Unless the government urgently reverses course, this pledge will be remembered not as a milestone of justice, but as a masterclass in political public relations. Grand in rhetoric, hollow in reality. Vera Mora, KTN.
To health matters now.